Hallå? Har vi lite ljud också kanske? Det hade ju varit trevligt. Det verkar inte så. Eller är det bara det så lågt? Hallå? Hallå? Kolla så vi har ljud. Den står att den väntar.
Mm.
Ja, jag får ju upp det.
Och därför jag tänkte jag kör med min telefon också.
Mm.
Du får upp den.
Hej! Går det bra? Nu var du med.
Går det bra?
Ja, vi får ljud. Härligt. Då är vi ju igång faktiskt.
Går det bra?
Ja, vi får ljud. Härligt. Då är vi ju igång faktiskt. Oj, nu ska vi stänga av här. Och här. Oj, titta så vackert. Ja, så blir det. Det är svårt att göra det på annat sätt. Tyvärr. Skulle egentligen köra upp den igenom. Det är svårt att... Därför hade vi inget ljud. Bra, jag var mutad, så det var härligt.
Är det du som har skrivit att den vill starta 10 o'clock sharp-ish?
Ja.
Jag tänkte om Andreas eller någon av dem.
Nej, jag brukar gärna vilja ha koll på vem som... Eller, det brukar bara vara den som är... Som streamar, som skriver som dbwebb. Som brukar vi ha som regel.
Ja, men det är lite. Men sedan så kom bildspelet att ta hela bilden och du som en liten del i den, eller?
Nej, jag tänker att jag får vara den stora.
Du är det hela?
Det är jag det handlar om.
Ja, jag bara funderar på om man skulle lite... Nej, det kanske inte behövs.
Jag tänker att den där lilla
Det blir
rutan...
för högt. Jag bara tycker det ser så tråkigt ut under till det är jag.
Det var så långt det gick. Vi kan lyfta upp den lite.
Jag är lite petig med vissa grejer.
Det är bra. Det blir väl helst bara inte ha den... Att jag liksom... Den sitter upp på mig för mycket. Men lite grann får det vara. Det här blir nog bra.
Jag ska inte höjas annars då.
Vi kan göra det istället. Det såg man inte alls. Så. Kör vi på. Det blir jättebra.
Tycker jag. Nej.
Veronica kör från kontoret eller? Skriver här.
Är hon på plats?
Hon satt där uppe på kontoret.
Eller är hon på plats? Ja, hon sitter där uppe idag och skriver.
Ja.
No, it's Emil Folino, it's not that. It's Emil Folino.
Oh, right, talking about the ASaP-method.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, it's just me.
So far, hopefully. Perfekt, jag hamnar till och med under bildspelet om jag inte går för nära.
Wait, you're presenting in English, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna present in English.
Kommer flera nu.
Jag är inte så orolig.
Hej.
So how long did you talk?
The lecture?
Yeah.
It will take about 20-25 minutes and then there will be time for questions.
Ungefär kvart i.
Ja, typ.
10 någonting.
Mm. Ni får helt själv bestämma. Socially distanced. Eva-Lotta kommer stå med såna skyltar.
Nej, jag springer härifrån.
Åh, mm.
tråkig.
Man måste flasha lite när man har saker på kontoret.
Varför går att göra ganska enkelt.
Ja, jag vet inte om alla de här sladdarna som är här ser enkelt ut, men ja, det ska nog bli bra. Idag. Hej hej! Jo. Den kan du ta. Det är inte min. We'll start in 2 minutes or so. Let the last people. Oh, we can start in a minute. Let the last people join the stream and in here. Good morning. My name is Emil Folino, as you all hopefully know. And today I'm going to present my overarching pedagogical method, ASaP, which stands for Availability, Structure, and Purpose. But first I would like to talk a little bit about 4 other letters. This lecture is streamed and will then be recorded and published on YouTube. As it says on the notes on the door, and none of you will be seen and none of you will be heard because of this small microphone. Questions after the lecture will be taken without streaming. One more thing before we get started. I just want to acknowledge 3 great teachers. Without them I would not be standing here today. Mikael for building the great web programming cluster and creating the foundation for this method. And Andreas for running with all of my crazy ideas, following along, pushing. And Kenneth for pulling me down when I get too crazy ideas. The subtitle for this lecture is called Great Course Evaluations and General Enjoyment as a Teacher. And teaching together with these 3 guys and now 2 more in the cluster is definitely one of the bigger parts of the general enjoyment part. having coffee, playing ping pong, and teaching with these guys is very, very cool. We have the greatest job in the world. Each day we get to see students grow, and some of us at BTH and academia at a whole even get to invent what we teach the students. Never forget this. It's the greatest job in the world. We'll move on to course evaluations. These are my last 15 courses where I've been heavily involved. And those that speak course codes fluently will see that it's everything from introductory programming to a thesis course. Getting good course evaluations help with the general enjoyment part, as we don't have to do further reviews, don't have to rework courses all the time. And it's even better when your mother-in-law is the one reviewing the course evaluations. It definitely helps with the general enjoyment. But does great course evaluation translate to good quality, and do the students actually learn more? Have a look at what the science behind quality and course evaluation says. When I discuss course evaluations and course evaluation scores, the first argument I tend to hear is that students during their education cannot judge the quality of a course. What have been found is that students are as good as alumni and as teacher peers of judging quality in a course. So we have a reliable source for these course evaluations. The second argument that I tend to hear is that creating easy courses and giving high grades translate to better course evaluations. Well, it's actually the exact opposite, the other way around. When students have to work hard, when students have to learn more, they tend to give higher evaluations. The important part about giving high demands to the students is that it comes with freedom and that it comes with support. We need to support the students when we demand a lot of them. So everything else in the course needs to meet these high demands. And I'll talk a little bit about that later when I discuss the method. On the slide of the 15 last course evaluations, there was one course that's below the 3.3 threshold. And the comments from that course was that the course was too easy and they didn't learn enough. And I think that really says it all. So to sum up, course evaluation scores can be at least interpreted with common sense, equated to quality. So how do I get these great evaluations? Have a look at the 3 parts of the ASaP method. So A for availability. Humans, and in our case students, wants to be seen, they want to be understood, and they want to be part of something bigger. In my experience, the absolute greatest way of doing this is by using chat. In chat, students create a community, they can learn from each other, and they can have discussion with us as teachers and with other students, which is just a further benefit. So what I would like now is, with show of hands, who in here have used chat as a part of education before the pandemic? Those on the stream can probably find some good emoji to use. How many of you have used it during the pandemic? Chat. And how many plan to use it afterwards? Great. The other part where you can really communicate with the students and create this sense of availability is when you correct students' assignments. What's important about the feedback is that it comes timely, that it comes before the next assignment, that it comes in time so that the formative feedback that we hopefully give can actually be used when we have the next assignment. What I've experienced during my 4 years here at BTH is that it takes exactly the same amount of time to correct an assignment the day after it's handed in than it takes 15 days later. So just do it. Correct the assignments. It seems that you're available. It seems that you're there for your students. Let's move on for S for structure. In study period 2, I will, together with Niklas, give a course on web design. Designers use white space to build their designs. It's way more important than the actual content of a page. White space, or we can use color in white space as well, is the things that lift the designs. So what I mean with structure is white space. It's everything that we can move from one course and transfer it to another. So it's all of those things that's not related to content. So how do you do this? Well, Mikael invented this course structure, and I've used it, twisted it, and done it. So what we do is, each week, the students need to read. They need to gain knowledge in some way. That can be reading, that can be watching a video, something like that. They need to practice. They need to put the theoretical knowledge into practical skills. And then they need to do something to show that the practical skills that are obtained through the knowledge is actually there. And then they need to reflect on the knowledge that they have gained and the practical skills that are gained. So an example of this is the introductory programming course that I gave together with Andreas, or gave at least. Each week the students read a chapter in the course book on some kind of structure in the programming language. And then they watch a lot of videos where they can scroll backwards and forwards and gain the knowledge that they need. Then they do a very detailed exercise where they get every step of the way for creating a program. Then they do an assignment that's closely related to the exercise, and then they reflect on what they have done during the week by answering 3 to 5 questions. So that's an example of how we do it. The second part is, I really think that this is one of the better ways to structure a course. Have a red thread. Have something that occurs during multiple assignments, multiple weeks, where they have to work on something. It adds progression, and this is even more powerful when you can couple it to a case. By using case knowledge, we couple the theoretical knowledge that the students obtain and couple that and put it into context. By putting it to context, we create a greater meaning. The students have something specific that they can couple to the theoretical knowledge. An example of this is that I created a course where the students work on a mobile phone app for warehouses. So they have to do inventory, and they have to do orders, and they have to ship things like that. So when they get home for summer break, it's the last course before the summer break, they actually have a real app on their own phone installed. And by coupling that knowledge that I've obtained by using JavaScript, CSS, HTML, all these technologies that we use during the course, it's coupled into the app, and they have actually a tangible thing that they can hold in their hand, show to their parents, show to their friends. And it's very important that this case is coupled then to what it's been done in the industry. So how should we change the structure during a student's education? Because we don't want to structure a course in the same way in year 1, the first course that they take, and the last course they take during. They have to involve. In an introductory programming course, as I said, we need to have very detailed exercises, very detailed requirements, but at some point we need to let go of the student's hand. They need to be their own guide. And I find that during the last years of the student's education, you can put very, very high demands on the students, but you have to give them the freedom and you have to be there for support. Have to be able to discuss with them in a chat, for instance. You have to be there and correct their assignments. So these parts of the method is related, but still separable. P for purpose. If structure is the banana and availability the ice cream, then purpose is the cherry on top. And the cherry on top is not very good by itself. And that's the same thing with purpose. Purpose alone is meaningless. We need to have the structure and we need to be there for our students. Why are the students taking your course? Show of hands in here and on the stream. When have you last asked this question about your course? Or have you ever done it? Why are the students taking your course? I've been very lucky to work closely together with Mikael, who is the program manager of the web programming programs. And we have a continuous discussion about why students take different courses. If you're not that lucky to work closely together with the program manager, I would suspect all program managers would like to have great courses. So go ask them, why are the students taking this course? Or we can even look at the course plan. What are the prerequisites for this course? How are we using that knowledge in this course? And for which courses is this a prerequisite? How are the knowledge in this course used further on? And how is it used in the industry? So go ask, why have you ordered this course at that time in your program? As you might know, I'm Danish and we are nationally obligated to love playing with these building blocks. And every course in a program and in a student's course, education is a building block. How can your course contribute to progression in the student's education? Normally, I have the last lecture of the first year of the web program students. And what I do then is that I take the students on a helicopter ride. Normally, the students are focused on the next assignment, how to get the next part of CSN. But we really need to lift the view of the students so that they see from day one, year one, we have actually learned a lot. I couldn't program a year ago. Now I have an app on my phone. How awesome is that? So add progression, both inside the course, but also as a part of the student's education, and ask the question, why? To conclude, this method is not just a band-aid for flesh wounds. It takes very hard work to create the structure, to create the meaning in the purpose of the course. But this method definitely pays dividends. You don't have to do as much during the study period. You have the structure, the students know where to find information, they know where to ask questions when they get them. And then pays dividends in great course evaluations. I want to leave you with my favorite quote on teaching and life in general by quoting machine Theodore Roosevelt. I think it says a lot about our challenge and the great part about being a teacher. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I'll stop the stream and then there will be time for questions.